Good morning children, Sai Ram. Welcome back to yet another video on social science. I hope you are enjoying the videos. Now before we start, let me give you one riddle to lighten up your mood. I'm light as feather, yet the strongest man cannot hold me for 5 minutes. Who am I? Yes, I'm sure you must have guessed it right. The answer is air, and it is the name of the fourth chapter of geography. We are going to learn about this in this video. So, the name of the topic that we are going to cover is air. Now, through this video, we are going to take a recap on importance of air, composition of the atmosphere, and structure of atmosphere. So now, let us begin with importance of air. Now, what is air? Air is the constant pressure that we feel around us but can never see. Have you ever seen air? No, we haven't, right? We can only feel it. The observable effects of air can be seen throughout nature. Now, how can we see? Through swaying of the plants and trees. That can be one example, right? The air, when flows with speed and pressure, is called as a breeze. Even though we cannot see air with our naked eyes, we can still feel it being around us at all times. And we know for certain that without air, life itself would not exist. We all need oxygen for respiration. The animals that live both on land and even the aquatic animals need oxygen to exist. Otherwise, they would all perish, as in they would all die, right? Air is the fundamental building block apart from which life itself would not exist. Bubbles in water only occur due to the small concentration of air that gets trapped in small bubbles. Students, if we take a lump of dry soil and add water to it, bubbles will be observed. Now, this indicates the presence of air molecules. Water displaces the air present in the soil and hence the bubbles are formed. The organisms living in the soil respire through oxygen present in this air. Animals living in the soil form holes in burrows. These burrows make space for air molecules to move in. So when it rains, water fills up the vacant spaces, and this is the reason why we see organisms like the earthworms coming up the soil for air during the rainy season. We use oxygen all the time, but it is still not exhausted because trees return this oxygen to the atmosphere during the process of photosynthesis. Plants also need oxygen, but their consumption is less as compared to their production. The atmosphere is a huge blanket of air that surrounds the earth. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effect of the sun's rays. So, this makes the temperature on the earth livable. So now children, you must have understood the importance of air. Now let us take a look at the composition of atmosphere. Students, atmosphere is a mixture of various gases. It mainly consists of nitrogen, oxygen. Students, do you know that atmosphere is a mixture of various gases? It consists of nitrogen, oxygen and other gases like argon, carbon dioxide, helium, ozone and hydrogen. Apart from this, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. Now have a look at this picture. It gives you, or it rather shows you, the percentage of each gas in the atmosphere. As I said, oxygen is 21% in air, nitrogen is 78%, argon is 0.93%, carbon dioxide is 0.03% and all the other gases are 0.04%. Children, in the earlier pie chart, we saw the percentage of different constituents of air. Nitrogen is the important plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. Nitrogen is also very important for survival of plants. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. In this way, the content of oxygen in the air remains constant. But children, do you know that when we cut the trees, this balance gets disturbed? Yes, it really does. Now, carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and they release oxygen. Whereas humans or animals release carbon dioxide. The total amount of carbon dioxide that is released by humans or by animals seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which makes a perfect balance. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. As a result of this, the increased volume of carbon dioxide affects the Earth's weather and climate. Now children, as we have seen, there are other gases also. Now those gases are also important. We have already seen the percentage of other gases that is present in the air. Now, before I finish with this topic, I would just love to give you some information on carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth. It is therefore called a greenhouse gas, and without it, the earth would have been too cold to live in. However, when its level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke or car fumes, the heat retained increases the temperature of the earth. Now children, this is called global warming. This rise in temperature causes the snow in the coldest parts of the world to melt. As a result, the sea level rises, causing floods in the coastal areas. There may be drastic changes in the climate of a place, leading to extinction of some plants and animals in the long run. Now let us move on to the last part of the video, that is structure of atmosphere. Our knowledge about the atmosphere is based on the information received through radars and satellites. The density and temperature of the atmosphere is not same everywhere. The atmosphere has a layered structure. Its total extent can be roughly divided into 5 layers. They are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Children, our knowledge about the atmosphere is based on the information received through radars and satellites, and hence through that we know that the atmosphere is a layered structure divided into 5 layers. Now we are going to look at the first layer now. The troposphere is the lowest layer and is closest to the Earth's surface. It extends roughly up to the height of about 8 kilometers near the poles and about 18 kilometers over the equator. So roughly the average height is about 13 kilometers. The temperature in this layer decreases with increasing altitude. It decreases roughly at the rate of 1 centigrade per 165 meters of ascent. This is called normal lapse rate. Water vapor and dust particles are found only in this layer. Troposphere is the most important layer as all weather phenomena like the formation of clouds, fogs, frost, dew, thunder, lightning, precipitation, etc. occur in this layer. This layer protects us from the excessive heat of the sun during the day and keeps the earth's surface warm at night. Troposphere has about 90% of air in the atmosphere. Now we move on to the stratosphere. The stratosphere lies above the troposphere. Its estimated height is about 50 kilometers above the mean sea level. This layer is almost free from all types of weather phenomena. Clouds are almost absent and there is very little dust or water vapor. The movement of earth is almost horizontal. Jet planes which fly at a high altitude fly in the lower part of the stratosphere. The lower part of the stratosphere has concentration of ozone and is thus called ozonosphere. Ozone absorbs the ultraviolet radiation of the sun. It is essential for protecting life on earth. We now move on to the next one, that is the mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies about the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 kilometers. Meteorites burn up in this layer on entering the space. The next layer is the thermosphere. In thermosphere, temperatures rises very rapidly with increasing height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 kilometers. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. The next one is the exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. This layer has a very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. Now with this, I end with the explanation of the first part of this chapter. Now let us take a small recap on whatever we have learned today. We learned that the earth is surrounded by a thick layer of gases called the atmosphere. Air is very important for all living organisms. Atmosphere is a mixture of colorless, odorless and tasteless gases. Nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide are some gases present in the atmosphere. The lower layer of the atmosphere has water vapor and dust particles. The atmosphere is divided into 5 layers, namely troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Weather phenomena such as formation of clouds, fogs, wind, rain, etc. occur in the troposphere. The lower part of the stratosphere has concentration of ozone which absorbs the ultraviolet radiation of the sun. The mesosphere is the coldest layer, and it is this layer in which the temperature decreases with height. In thermosphere, the temperature may reach up to 1500 degrees centigrade at its upper limit. The exosphere is the uppermost layer and gradually it merges into the outer sphere. So children, with this I end this video. I expect you to go through whatever we have done, read the chapter and complete your assignments. I'll see you in the second part of this chapter. Till then, goodbye and stay safe.